Oh hey, it's Wes, and today we're having a look at an exciting new lens. It is the Sirui Aurora 35 1.4. We're going to talk about the features, the usability, the build quality, the image quality. We're going to go in depth, look at everything, as we previously did with the Sirui 85 Aurora. It wasn't that long ago that it was a little bit difficult to get like wider aperture primes from a third party for a lot of the camera mounts, but here we are in a new world where on Sony there are a lot of options for 35 1.4, even 35 1.2. Can Sirui compete in this now very crowded, thankfully, market? It's great to have options. Very similar in size to the original 85, honestly. And compare it to the Sony 35 G Master. It is ever so slightly longer. It feels lighter in the hand. Ever so slightly thicker, perhaps. Let's get structured here. We'll talk about handling and usability. As previously mentioned, nice and light for a 35 1.4 lens. We have a focus ring. It's not rubberized like on the G Masters. It's a little bit loose. Feels good. If you give it a good squeeze, it locks down, unfortunately. We also have an aperture ring. It's not turning. I love that. Because we have an iris lock. Yes. Nice satisfying click. We're not using it. You can lock it down. Love to see that. You can click and de-click. Now that has a really nice feel to it, better than the focus ring. If you squeeze it, that does not lock down. Aperture ring is the best ring on this lens. Also on the side we have the custom function button, which, like on all Sony lenses, you can customize. AF, MF. Focus by wire is a little bit taxing. You gotta turn it really far. Gotta really crank that. And I'll be talking about this lens as a video lens and a photo lens. And I find that, for the most part, this is more of a video lens for me. And we'll be touching on that throughout this video. To start out, it looks like we have a lot of wins for handling and usability. Take a look at this lens hood. We have a rubberized ring around it, which can come off if you yank on it. Locking button, which you don't see on a lot of third-party lenses. On. Locks on, very nice. Good button. As you can see, it's a pedal style hood, which has its ups and downs. Better for resisting flaring, but not as good for willy-nilly setting on front of the lens. Another amazing thing for usability, USB-C port for easy firmware updates. I wish Sony would do that. They don't want to. They like to control the whole ecosystem, but their Mac apps are terrible. My main gripe here is one that I failed to mention in my 85 video. Thankfully, it's not quite as bad as on the 85. If you look at the back of the 85 here, there is a sharp edge. On the most modern Sony bodies, it's less of an issue if you have medium to small hands like I do. But on the older bodies like A7 II, A7 III, A9, A9 II, you put your fingers in here and it is positively chopping at your fingers. Absolutely painful to use, borderline unusable on these bodies. If you have large fingers, completely unusable on an A9 or A9 II. This one, a little bit better, but still we've got some finger chopping going on here. Not very comfortable. So if you don't have one of the newer bodies that have the expanded grip with a little more space in there, this is not a comfortable lens to use. And if I put this on, you have the G Master, lots of room there. The edge is not hard. It has the right angle. Not painful at all. In their defense, sort of. This is an older body. Quite old at this point. I mean, we're on the A7 V now. But the A9 Mark II didn't come out that long ago. And a lot of people are still rocking the A7 III, one of the best-selling cameras ever. So we really need to think about that. This lens, it's made for newer bodies. Handling and usability, I'm going to give that an 8.75 out of 10. And I am taking like a full half point off for that, which is a shame because otherwise this lens checks all the boxes. It has all the switches that I want. On to build quality. As we saw before, it is weather sealed. You have a rubber gasket. I have not shot this in the rain. I can't confirm exactly how weather sealed it is. The switches, they feel a little bit generic, but they're there and they feel solid. Custom function button. The lens hood. has just a tiny bit of squeeze to it, but it's locking, has that rubberized mechanism. It feels like a premium lens hood for a premium lens. Altogether, this is a very pretty lens. Just slight nitpicks, we have too many fonts on this lens. Does that matter? Well, we are photographers. We are involved in the fine arts. I like the Aurora logo. That is very pretty. But if we look here, like iris lock, function, FMF, we're mixing too many fonts and weights and sizes, and the Sirui logo, it all gets to be a bit much, which is a shame because overall I find that Sirui makes the prettiest lenses. They are good at making lenses look nice. What this lens is made out of, I am not sure. It does not feel cold like metal, but then again, the 35G Master is also made out of a polycarbonate of some kind. But overall, it feels fantastic in the hand. Just the fact that you can clamp down on that manual focus ring and stop it kind of bothers me. I gotta give this a 9.75 out of 10. Just killed it, checked all the boxes. Image quality, and this is where we expect to have a bit of a struggle, because we haven't gotten to value yet. This is a highly competitively priced lens. We're expecting some trade-offs here. If we look online, we see some people who have received these have had some issues with decentering. If you buy one of these and it's not sharp or it's decentered, send it back, get a new one. This is not just a third-party lens issue. I have had a ton of problems with this with Sony in the past, especially with their 35 1.4 Zeiss ZA lens. My original copy of that was super soft on one side. I complained about it on YouTube. One of the only times Sony themselves, not pro support, but Sony themselves got back to me. And they're like, we can fix this. We will send you a verified, a tested, what do they call it? Superlative copy of the 35ZA. I sent them back my lens. They sent me a new one. It was still soft on one side, but not quite as soft as my original. That is an expensive lens. And this was supposedly one that they had third-party tested by lens rentals to be superlative. Not cool. This lens, for the most part, is sharper than that 35ZA lens was. Both copies that I had of that. If you want a mug, go take some photos, click the link. That's not what we're comparing this lens to. We're comparing it to the 35G Master. At all apertures, at all regions of the frame, this 35G Master, when it was new, was clearly sharper than the Sirui 35 1.4. I said when it was new. My Sony G Master, I've had it since launch, is no longer as sharp as it used to be. I'm well past my warranty period at this point. This is problematic. Wide open, my 35G Master used to be shockingly sharp. Scored very high. It's the highest scoring lens on my chart. I'm not sure if I need to retro that. Unfortunately, now wide open, my 35G Master is slightly softer than this, the Aurora 35, for a lot more money. So that's kind of a shame. I need to look into what I can do about that. Moving back to the Aurora. Our sharpness is good, not the best. Wide open, a little bit soft. Always a little bit problematic around the far edges. However, a 35 1.4 not usually used as a clinical lens. Your use case may vary. I was actually surprised at how well it handles chromatic aberration. Very little to be seen. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of cloudy days since I got this lens, so I haven't super in-depth tested the CA. It might go beyond that. There is a medium amount of distortion, definitely distortion there, and a pretty high amount of vignetting. That is probably our biggest trade-off with this lens. Compact design, lower price, a lot of vignetting. Even when you stop it down to like 5.6, it's still vignetting visible. Flares are not terribly well controlled, but honestly, I love the character of the flares. Unfortunately, it does impact our image quality score, but it's going to work well for our image character. quality, we're giving that a 7.75 out of 10. Image character. And this is where Sirui has often done well. I found the 85 to be a little bit green in the flares, a tiny bit clinical at times. However, very, very pleased with the image character of the 35 1.4. It has a little bit of pop to it. I would say trading blows with the Sony 35 1.4 and the ZA for that as well. Looks very nice. The bokeh, onion rings a medium distance from the center. The rings are slightly fringed, slightly hard edges, which I personally prefer. A perfectly neutral bokeh ball I find to be a little more boring. I like them to pop just a tiny bit. This is all very subjective image character. The flares, again, I love the flares. I find they're very cinematic. The sun stars start at an earlier aperture than a lot of portrait sort of focused lenses, so I love that as well. Love to get a sun star if I can. That's great. Yep, the fall off is very smooth. 35 1.4, you can go for a nice shallow depth of field with that. And so for image character, this is fantastic. One of my favorite lenses, honestly. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. Very pleased. Focus performance. And third-party lenses tend to be a bit touch and go for that. As we saw with their sniper series, they can really crack that one wide open, and this one is no different. Not as fast as some of their sniper lenses, that's for sure, but we have a lot more glass, much larger full-frame lens. However, this thing will focus all the way to the edge of the frame. A lot of third-party lenses only do the center third, gotta be careful about that. Low light, very reliable. Eye AF. Face AF, Animal AF, very reliable, locks on well. The only potential issue could be for you is that it's just a little bit slow. It is not nearly as fast as the Sony 35G Master with the direct drive and a lot of newer Sony lenses, even some newer third-party lenses. 10 years ago, this wouldn't be considered that slow, but today, with some lenses that are just instant possible autofocus, this one is not that at all. It's reliable, but not anywhere near the top of the pack for focus speed. As far as breathing in video, there is some breathing, but not that much. Unfortunately, you can't use breathing compensation with a non-Sony lens, so that is unfortunate. For focusing performance, we are going to get an 8.75 out of 10. Moving on to value, and this is where it all really comes down. We have a few trade-offs, a few superlatives in here. This lens comes in at $550. Nice. But there's a lot of competition. There's the original Samyang 35 1.4 that is $50 less, $500. However, that lens had some issues. Samyang since came out with a Mark II of that for $700. More money. They also have the Samyang 1.4 Pro for $700. How do you decide? I don't know. Sigma has their art lens, their new Mark II art lens, which is apparently one of the best lenses ever made. I've never used it. $1,060. I feel like there's some tariff nonsense in there. There's the original Sony 35ZA, $1,100. Whew, that is steep for a lens that is often problematic in my experience. And of course, the Sony 35G Master for $1,600, 3 times the price. Fantastic value. Can you get something cheaper? Yes, you can. That gives us a 9.5 out of 10. That brings us a total score of 89.2%. Let's have a look at our list, and oh boy, that went high. For a lens that has an image quality score of 7.75, we still managed to get within the top 5 with some real bangers of lenses. One of them also being a Sirui lens, that sniper lens that I mentioned before. The second highest full-frame lens, 35 1.4, from Sirui. Based on this chart, it seems like I like 35mm lenses, and that is true. I'm a 35-85 kind of guy. What do you think about the new Sirui Aurora? Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it a banger of a lens for a great price with a few trade-offs? For sure. Those trade-offs are definitely worth it for a lot of people. If you're looking to take razor-sharp, wide-open portraits, this lens probably isn't for you. If you want a lens that is quite reliable for video work, where when you're shooting in 4K, wide open, that difference in sharpness is significantly less apparent. If you want to pick one up, there's going to be a link down in the description below to help support this channel and feed my fat cats. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below and I'll get back to you. But until next time, let's go take some cost-effective photos.